Welcome back to Silent Medicine, where science meets spirit and where healing is allowed to be quiet, honest, and rooted in inner authority. I am Dr. Nnenna Ndika, clinical psychologist, integrative medicine doctor, and someone who believes that self-awareness is not a luxury. It is a form of protection. It is also a form of healing. Today, we're talking about an old truth that never gets old. Man, woman, know thyself. Not as a motivational quote, not as a performance, but as a lived practice, especially when your body is giving you new information. There's a moment many of us know too well. You sense something early, a quiet inner no, a subtle tightening, a change in energy, a feeling you can't fully justify. And sometimes it's not even a no. Sometimes you feel elation or unexplainable joy, a sudden lightness, like something in you already knows this is aligned. But then the mind steps in quickly and says, it's fine. Don't be dramatic. Come on, give it a chance. Be nice. Just push through. Be calm. You need more information. You can't just flow with what you don't really know the outcome of. I call that rationalizing. So you override the knowing. And then the body, your body, corrects you. Sometimes gently. Through fatigue, a headache, a heavy feeling in the chest, a loss of appetite, or sleep disruption. And sometimes loudly, through anxiety, shutdown, pain, panic, inflammation, sudden irritability, or a feeling of being deeply off. And you look back and realize, my body tried to tell me earlier. I just didn't listen. Other times, your intuition speaks in that same early way. And we ignore that too. And I want to say this clearly. Your body and your intuition giving early signals is not condemnation. That's feedback. That's innate wisdom doing its job. And when you begin trusting your body's sensations, and most of all, your intuition, especially when you cannot yet see the full picture, it can be hard to gather the evidence that information from within is accurate. But in my experience, It's been remarkably accurate. And I'll invite you to reflect on yours. Many times, even when the immediate outcome isn't what I want, and often in retrospect, I see the blessing. Have you experienced that in your life as well? I bet you have. And that brings us to the first truth. Self-betrayal has a physiology. Let's look at what this really means. Self-betrayal is not just a psychological concept. It has a physical signature. When you repeatedly override what you know is true, the body often responds with tension in the jaw, shoulders, or belly. Dread that appears out of nowhere. A freeze response, such as numbness, shutdown, heaviness, sleep disruption, irritability and resentment, digestive changes, and fatigue that feels emotional, not just physical. Because over time, the nervous system learns, I can't trust you to protect me. And when the nervous system doesn't trust the relationship it has with you, it becomes hypervigilant. Or it just simply shuts down. This is why people can be doing everything right externally, but still feel internally exhausted. Secondly, I want to invite you to explore how discernment isn't mental, but rather embodied. Discernment is not overthinking either. It's not endless analysis. It's not trying to figure it out from fear. Discernment is the ability to read signals. In silent medicine, we prioritize signals over stories. Because stories can be persuasive. Stories can be inherited. Stories can be cultural. And stories can be trauma-shaped. Stories are also one of the major ways we get socialized and internalize what I call introjects. Introjects are inherited scripts that quietly shape how you think, feel, and choose. On the other hand, signals are often immediate and honest. I refer to these as primordial signals, not clouded by reasoning, not filtered through the need to be socially appropriate. It is important that you know your body is tracking. It is noticing, it is listening, it is acknowledging. And like I mentioned in an earlier episode, our inner healer is monitoring tone, energy and vibrational frequency, pattern, history, safety, capacity, and muscle memory. So sometimes the question isn't, what's the right decision? The question becomes, what is my body and my intuition already saying about this? Because your intuition and your body are not late to respond. They often respond first, and then your mind catches up. Did you know that being true to yourself is nervous system medicine? Being true to yourself is not a personality trait. It's not confidence. It's not a branding statement. It's a nervous system practice. It's the ability to notice, I'm tightening, I'm bracing, I'm performing, I'm abandoning myself, and then to return to truth gently. And it's also the ability to notice the other signals, like I feel awesome, I feel grateful, I am happy. And to remain in balance and in your truth, even when life is moving quickly. Sometimes being true to yourself looks like saying, let me get back to you. Taking a pause before committing. Changing your mind when you gather new information. Resting when you usually force and push through. Leaving a conversation early without apology. Acknowledging, this isn't working for me anymore. And sometimes being true to yourself also means the opposite. Realizing you can do something you once said no to, because now you have more information, more capacity, or a clearer sense of alignment. Truth doesn't have to be loud, but it does have to be honored, and it does have to be honest. And when you honor truth consistently, something changes. The nervous system begins to trust you again, and it starts to feel safe. If you want a simple way to practice Know Thyself today, try this. Step 1, exhale twice. You make sure that you have slow, longer out breath than the in breath. Step 2, ask 3 questions. The first one is, what do I know? Not what I hope, not what others expect. What do I know? Second question is, what do I feel? Name it simply. 1 word is enough. And locate where it is in your body. And the third question is, what is the smallest honest action I can take today? Not the biggest boundary, not the dramatic overhaul, the smallest honest action. Examples. I need time. Not today. I can do part of that, not all. I'm going to rest. I'm going to tell the truth in 1 sentence. Then stop. That's the practice. Small truth builds capacity. So here is a reflection question for you. Where in your life have you been receiving new information? From your body, your energy, your emotions, but you've been trying to keep living according to an old version of yourself. And what would change if you honored the update? Because knowing yourself is not self-absorption. It's self-respect. And self-respect is a form of healing and alignment. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me today. If something in this episode touched a nerve in a good way, or helped you feel a little less confused or overwhelmed by it all, you might share it with someone you love. You can find more calm, practical reflections at silentmedicine.com. And if you'd like gentle support about once a week, you're welcome to join the Silent Medicine newsletter there as well. A gentle reminder before we close. This podcast is for education and reflection only. It isn't medical or psychological advice, and it doesn't replace working with qualified professionals who know you and your history. If you're navigating trauma, cohesive relationships, or intense fear responses, please seek support from a qualified practitioner who can help you explore this safely. Until next time, may you notice one quiet way your body is already trying to care for you, even if the world hasn't honored that yet. And may you keep listening to the healer within. I am Dr. Nnenna, and this is Silent Medicine. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.